Welcome to the CoinSec podcast. On this week's episode, Steve gives a great introduction to Qt wallets and how to safely back up and store your wallet files. Also, China appears to be cracking down on cryptocurrency exchanges once again. All that and more on episode number 29 of the CoinSec podcast.
Want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably secure.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast. The CoinSec podcast is a podcast about cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies with a focus on securing them. Don't let the hum of our dual-purpose crypto miner / password crackers in the background disrupt your listening pleasure. You know, mine is actually in password cracking mode right now, and it's rough because I just want to be mining stuff. But nevertheless, it's useful. See, like if you want to build a miner, you can have dual purposes. It's totally trying to crack some hashes right now. It makes me sad that I'm not making coin off of it, but you know, it's still working for me. But anyways, today I'm your host, Bo Bullock. This is episode number 29, and I have with me today Mr. Mike Felch. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad.
It's good here. Super hot. I'm mining, not cracking.
Nice. Lucky you.
Sweating it out there next to your miner.
Yes.
And that is the voice of Steve Borosh. What's up, Steve?
Hey. Doing well. I am not suffering from the Arizona heat. I actually have an air conditioner that's working here, so I'm feeling pretty good. Got my miner turned off, so I'm not screwing up my video here and everything. So
Nice.
there's a time and the place, and unfortunately my mining stuff is in my office, and if I turn it on during the day while I'm working, it literally turns into a sweat box. So so I turn it off for most of the day when I'm working.
You know, I still have not had like heat issues with these cards. I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess I have like an AC up here in this office as well, and I don't know. Like, I've never had like heat problems with these 8 GTXs I got.
Nice.
I don't know. Like I literally have like the AC off right now, you know, for recording this, and feels good.
I even have a box fan.
Must be nice.
Nice.
I've thought about not mining during the day like that because I've been looking at some of my hash rates during certain hours of the day, and it seems like it does significantly better. I don't know if it's just the weird occurrence of the coin that I'm mining or what. It's
like your body's like electromagnetic pulses or something, like causing it to throw it off.
Yeah. It may be. I don't know. It's a weird graph though.
Well,
do some analytics.
You know, we're hoping. We're really hoping that Ralph makes it today. He said he's going to come. We don't know what time. He could just drop in any moment. So he might be here today.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah. Speaking of hold on to your butts, it's been, I mean, kind of an interesting week, I guess, in terms of the prices. You know, it was kind of up and down a little bit.
It was almost a good week.
Yeah.
And then the rug was pulled out from under us.
Mm-hmm. So we're at 209 billion currently of the overall market cap, which I think that was about where it was last week. Can't quite remember, but it was pretty close to there. Then we got Bitcoin at 6,471, Ethereum 277, and Ripple at 32 cents.
So I don't know if we talk about it today, but I don't see any links for it in the draft. So the couple reasons for that spike. If you guys noticed, I think it was yesterday, there was a giant spike from I don't know. It's almost like a couple million at least in market cap. So what's it, BitMEX, something like that, went offline for maintenance, and it looks like people tried to squeeze the shorts and bought a bunch of Bitcoin around that time. And it also, I heard that the Tether token also released a whole bunch of tokens into the market at the same time.
Yeah, I saw you post that.
Which allowed people to buy, I think, more Bitcoin.
Yeah, $100 million in new Tether.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So there's speculation that this bump, this giant rise yesterday was maybe fake, and it was people trying to, manipulate the market. But then, there's these other factors that play into it. So it could be a couple.
Cool. Yeah, I think was it last week that we were talking about VeChain having like a huge gain, I think it was last week. But anyway, so VeChain had a drastic drop back to like the normal market cap levels this week. And there was a reason. I'm trying to find what that was real quick. Yeah, so so VeChain, I don't think we've actually talked about them too much. They're like an IoT focused cryptocurrency that from what I remember about VeChain, they do a lot of like supply chain kind of stuff. That's where they get the name VeChain. And they have partnerships with PricewaterhouseCoopers. They have they secured a contract with the Chinese government to create a solution to trace vaccines. Sounds pretty interesting.
That's interesting, yeah. Especially with all the Chinese stuff going on.
Yeah. So, anyways, it retraced. Apparently, 10%, 10% back. So, there's that.
So I guess these little spikes, and I think that's what we're seeing. It's so hard to predict what's going to happen, right? When there's massive news articles drop or somebody dumps a bunch of money into a coin, or a coin releases some major upgrade or they get picked up by some exchange. You would think a lot of times that would cause some sort of disruption, but then it doesn't do anything. And then something weird happens and all of a sudden there's a massive spike.
Are you familiar with the World Bank?
Like the regular World Bank?
Yeah, the World Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're expected to settle their first blockchain-based bond that's actually worth $73 million this month. So Australia's Commonwealth Bank, CommBank, they were selected as the sole arranger of issuance by the World Bank in early August. And I'm pretty sure it's an Ethereum-based transaction that's going to happen, but interesting to see, large amounts being paid out by major banks over cryptocurrency. Alrighty. So guess we can start talking about some of the coin security news here. First story I've got for this week is about Coinbase. So Coinbase actually filed a patent for freeze logic cryptocurrency wallet security. So it looks like they're looking to add an additional layer from the name of it, right? From the freeze wallet name. It sounds like it's got some maybe like cold wallet storage nuances to it. Here, so the actual patent reads, transactions do not explicitly identify the payer and payee by name or wallet. Instead, a Bitcoin transaction transfers ownership to a new address referred to as a Bitcoin address. The Bitcoin address is derived from the public portion of one or more cryptographic key pairs. The private portion of a key pair is not disclosed to the public. To send Bitcoin sent to an address, a user broadcasts a payment message that is digitally signed with an associated private key. So it sounds like it's just, private key cryptography. What is the actual patent here? Key ceremony application creates an encrypted key bundle together with an operational master key.
Sounds like it's just like an operational step, right? So create a bunch of keys from like a master key
Mm-hmm.
and use those.
So is that, I guess, in the event that like one of the keys was stolen or something? Like how does that help protect your wallet? So Freeze Logic aims to prevent the potential exposure of private keys during checkout by a means of allowing suspicious transactions to be frozen by administrators. So it has something to do with like a payment, I guess. It's not necessarily, I guess, like you storing your crypto, right? It's more of like a payment-based technology, it looks like. A database contains addresses and private keys stored in association with each other. Should an unsigned transaction request for payment be made, even after a master key is loaded, the system can suspend payments and transactions as well as detect frozen states.
I guess it's just to stop, in the event a master key is stolen, to be able to freeze payments without interfering with the normal economy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how this is going to do that.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess originally I was thinking that like this would have something to do with like your actual like Coinbase wallet, and they were trying to do something there. But Coinbase has that merchant like payment portion that people can implement. Like actually, Overstock was one that used Coinbase before. So if you wanted to pay with Bitcoin on Coinbase or on Overstock.com, they would redirect you to the Coinbase payment program. And I'm guessing like that's kind of what this has nuances of here. So anyways, that's the Coinbase new patent. Next.
Yeah, the patent details. I just went to the patent details, and it kind of outlines what's being claimed.
Mm-hmm.
And when you dig into it, it'll probably make it a little bit more clear. It looks like some sort of middleware with some sort of freeze flag logic that checks. I don't know.
So what do you do with like the money that you steal when you're a SIM swapper? Like what else would you do?
Buy a Lambo.
Buy Lambos.
Go ham. Yeah, you got to buy a lamb.
So apparently that's exactly what the alleged 19-year-old SIM swapper did with his stolen Bitcoin. He went and bought luxury cars.
Imagine that.
I'm not surprised. So what did he actually buy though? Which kind of cars?
McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren. I think it was an Lambo.
Wow.
He didn't go all out.
Well, he traded in his Audi R8,
which he also bought with Bitcoin. I don't know if that was legitimate Bitcoin he had received before, but he's definitely got a history of buying fancy cars.
Nice.
So yeah, in this one, I guess he was using BitPay, which is funny. That's where I lost my money the last week when I was in Vegas. But yeah, so he was using BitPay, and feds were able to go in and get the records from that. Apparently, his account saw a flow of 157 Bitcoin, according to a court document.
Wow.
So maybe he found your phone. He found your phone.
yeah, that was mine. I had all that Bitcoin on it. I want restitution.
Nice.
Yeah, this makes it.
It seems like he didn't do anything to try to anonymize his transactions or anything like that. He just straight up just went out and bought a car.
You mean like not posted on Instagram?
Oh, did he post it on Instagram too?
We posted pics of his new cars.
Mm-hmm.
and him holding.
How'd you get that?
Yeah. This is like a prime. You know what you do? This is if you're the government. What you do is you go figure out all of the people that have bought a Lambo, look at their age, and trace it back. That's all you do. That's it. Have they used electricity, like an excessive amount of electricity? No. They work at McDonald's, so they're not traders. You're probably a thief.
But what about all these millennials and their startups?
Well, then you would have a bank account with some money in it, or you'd have a trading portfolio. But if you work at McDonald's and you drive a Lambo and you're 17, you probably are stealing Ether or Bitcoin.
Good points.
It's easy.
Good points.
Yep.
Follow the Lambo. Follow the Lambo.
Free tips from Mike.
He didn't even get a green car for money. He got a white one.
It's true.
Or yellow for Bitcoin, right?
Well, yeah. What's the color of cryptocurrency?
Hmm.
Good question.
In the red currently, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Next story. Largest smart contract attacks and blockchain history exposed. Part 1. And this is a rather long blog post. So, hey, Mike, give us the TLDR on this one.
Okay, so it's actually pretty cool. It's interesting. So there's these Ponzi schemes, right? Everybody knows about these Ponzi schemes. But so there's this one called FOMO 3D, and you basically you send Ether, and then a bunch of airdrops happen, and then whoever's the lucky one, I guess at the end, well, you get these airdrops. So if you're lucky, you get airdrops kind of throughout the game, and so everybody just sends Ether into the smart contract, and eventually the smart contract will airdrop Ether to winners, and then there's like a final winner, and like there's some skepticism on exactly what this FOMO 3D or these copycats are doing, because basically there has to be a final winner, and then sometimes the final winner has the big lottery. So in this one, I guess it's the same concept. And bear in mind, this article like has keywords, marketing, propaganda throughout the whole entire thing. So you kind of have to look past it. But so I guess there's
like
this.
the
They call it a
APT?
blockchain APT. Yeah.
The BAPT.
So the BAPT. So basically, this company has been releasing some sort of technology to be able to mine or monitor transactions, blah blah blah. But in a nutshell, a bunch of transactions have been occurring, and so somebody, this group, found ways to leak transactions. So like if they invested like 1 ETH and they got back like almost 2 ETH, they would do that over and over and over, and they found a way to send a lot of transactions to the smart contract in order to get small increments leaked to them through these airdrops. And so once they were able to do that, nobody knew how they were doing it, but they were basically draining the pool very successfully. I mean, they were getting a high return, even though they were making small transactions. And so there's some skepticism on like how they were doing it. There's some rumors that, oh, well, they were maybe exhausting the gas, or they were exhausting the ability for the smart contract to hold more data. And so it's still yet to be determined, but there was like a vulnerability in the FOMO 3D contract where the addresses for the airdrop were deterministic. And so what would happen is you could deploy a bunch of blank contracts in hopes of getting your contract address to be the right airdrop address to win the airdrop. And so what they were doing was they would just deploy a bunch of blank contracts and then destroy them if they were wrong. And then eventually when the airdrops occurred, because you were able to hit that deterministic contract address, you would win the airdrop, which is really kind of crazy. So there's a lot more meat to it, but in the nutshell, this blog post from Anchain.ai, I'm kind of hesitant on even giving them any more marketing fodder. But they traced it and they were able to track it down to like certain contracts and then follow those addresses to see what other contracts were deployed so they could kind of get ahead of the game. And so that's basically it. It's basically exploiting a FOMO 3D clone, right? So this one's closed source, so which I don't know. They say they have their internal tools that could reverse engineer it, which I think they're just using Trail of Bits or somebody's using Trail of Bits code. But the game gets super hyped up because people want to win that airdrop, and so they just keep sending in ether. And then on the backside, this attack group found ways to exploit it and then just basically drain all the airdrops. I think they actually won the lottery too. Like it's called the last winner, and so if you're the last winner that makes a transaction, then you get the total payout, which is like massive.
So is the blockchain APT, is that the attacking group that's trying to win the contest?
Yes.
Okay.
So I guess the BAPT
Yeah.
is exploiting these games at mass in order to drain hundreds of thousands of Ethereum.
Gotcha.
So like a copycat will come up, and so the last winner was just another one that was like the same FOMO 3D, but I guess there's a bunch of them. And some of them take traction, some of them don't. I think the reason why this one did, this last winner Ponzi scheme, was because they streamlined the ability to play like through like an Android app. So, yeah, I don't know. But there's other ones too. There's copycat games like Game Mouse, Rat Scam. And so these are like legit, I guess legit as you can get Ponzi schemes. We've talked about them before, but not from the attacking perspective.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
So I don't know why they're calling it a BAPT. I always attribute APTs with kind of like a nation state, which I guess it could be.
Sure. Yeah, you never know.
So that'd be it.
All right. Yeah, that's.
Oh, the other thing is it's shooting up the gas costs on Ethereum because it's exhausting. Like these games are exhausting Ethereum gas, making it a whole nother problem.
Okay. So last week we talked about a cryptocurrency mining farm in Norway. We got a bomb threat, and it was like a noise complaint. Well, apparently that actual mining farm might indeed get shut down, which is sad.
Oh, poor miners. Now, what does this facility not have any kind of like noise dampening or anything like that? Is it just like an open air facility?
Well, so there's another. I don't know if you saw the second link I posted in there, but there's actually like apparently really awesome places in Norway to set up a mining farm.
Sure. Yeah, it can't be something like that because those look like most of them are, in Connex boxes inside a mountain.
Yeah, inside a mountain.
Which I can't imagine the noise would creep out of there very well. Yeah,
no, the thing here is that's interesting, I guess, is that so the mining firm is called Crypto Vault, and they have several facilities in different Norwegian cities, and they might be closing because they lack the right permits. So local officials say the facility has been operating illegally, though it's not clear what certification the mine is required to have. So that's, I don't know, is that like an EPA thing now? Like, are we going to have like like certifications to run our miners? Like, how deep does that go? I guess,
deep
Is
into the
it based on the electricity usage?
Does not say. So, all right. So it says the facility draws as much as 40 megawatts of power to run 9,500 computers.
Yeah. So I think I could be wrong, but I think from reading some past articles that like places in Washington State that are using the hydroelectric dams for their mining operations, they do have to contact the local power company and stuff like that and get permits and whatever to actually use that much power.
Mhm.
So maybe it's something along those lines where they just didn't go through the right process to be consuming that amount of power.
It does say that the fans used to cool the facility is what sparked the complaints, right? Because of the the noise level from the fans.
Like, what kind of fans are they using, though? I mean, jeez.
Jet engines.
Huh. Well, we'll see how that one turns out. Anyways, this other article in here that shows like some of these data center mines in Norway. It's actually pretty interesting. Like, there's this one picture that shows like an underground tunnel, and I swear it's straight from like a James Bond movie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And then the next picture, or I'm sorry, 2 pictures later, there's pictures of like the shipping containers, and they're stacked on top of each other inside this mine. And there's like ladders going up to them. It's like legit James Bond stuff. It's awesome. Alrighty, next
That's
story.
crazy.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So apparently, China once again is cracking down, man, cracking the whip on cryptocurrency. So got a couple different articles here. The first one is in regards to China blocking 124 offshore cryptocurrency exchanges. So they, let's see, China's going to begin blocking the IP addresses belonging to 124 cryptocurrency trading platforms that still serve mainland residents. You know, IP addresses are great ways to just stop people from going to a website, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Some static indicators, right?
Mm-hmm. So there's that, and then the second part is that like the biggest social media giant, WeChat in China, is actually shutting down blockchain and cryptocurrency like ads, I think, or media.
So along the lines of what was it, Facebook?
Yeah,
did that?
Facebook. Yep, Twitter. Yep, a lot of the social media.
I wonder if
companies
that's due to the propensity for scams.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's got to be, right? It's got to be. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about in China though. Maybe they have a different purpose there. Maybe it's more,
Sure.
Like
Just controlling.
Mm-hmm. And then what was the other thing? There was another piece to this as well.
The venues or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. So Beijing, they've halted hosting any crypto events in Beijing.
Well, that's interesting. I've seen a few Twitters about them doing like blockchain cruises and stuff like that in Beijing. So it seems to be like a popular place for people to meet up and do that kind of thing. So it's
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh man. All right.
I actually wonder why. Do you think it's because they're going to try to introduce their own and they want it isolated? I mean, if you think a lot of the Bitcoin farms are all Chinese, the leading ones.
Mm-hmm. It's a good point.
I mean, I don't think they're going to do away with it. It's probably more regulatory to kind of force their own, would be my guess.
Like create their own cryptocurrency? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not just that, but like whether it's an exchange or whether it's soft like technology or whether it's mining or venues or anything, you're going to want to regulate it. Especially, I mean, I don't know about you guys, what you guys think of leading countries. My first instinct to think who runs cryptocurrency, like the majority of, not like runs it from a nation state, but runs it from adoption, would be China. I mean, I would just think it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I could be completely wrong. Maybe I'm not backing with any numbers, but if you were Chinese government, you wouldn't want to lose that. You would want to control that, or at least regulate it, so that you don't turn financial economies into something that you don't have dominion over, especially just kind of what we talked about it before with like the debt that's owed to China and the dollar. I don't know. I would just think that it'd be better rather than shut it all down. Yeah, you would shut 120 cryptocurrency exchanges down, spin up your own, and now next thing you know, you're the man.
That's a good point. Yeah, with Bitmain in China, and then the major Bitcoin pools obviously are there too.
Right. So you start regulating. Is that what's going to be regulated next? Is blocking IP addresses to the pools that aren't regulated by?
And then they just own the mining.
And then what would that do? Imagine what that would do, right? Imagine if 75% of all the Bitcoin miners, because I think that's if you add up the top 5 or top 10 pools in China, or top 10 Bitcoin pools, they own the majority of the Bitcoin mining. If you make it so that those pools can't be accessed, and you block those IP addresses, the mining on Bitcoin drops, the hash rate drops, and the difficulty drops significantly, meaning Bitcoin miners on GPUs would be relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about like screwing with the economy. If you hate it, block access.
Actually, here's an interesting thought. How would it work if you had like an exact point in time where half of the hashing power like split off, and like let's say like, you know, China does control exactly 50% of the hashing power. What would happen if they were to firewall those miners off from the rest of the world and just start mining in their own country? Would it make like, I don't know, like what would happen? I'm trying to think, like, would you have 2 separate blockchains? It wouldn't fork, right?
No, it wouldn't cause a fork or anything like that. I would think that if you just shut it off, you would you'd lose access to the blockchain, because the blockchain doesn't reside in any single country.
Interesting.
It could be. It's a fairly serious situation though, if you think about that. I mean, if you're blocking exchanges, and I mean, what's to stop you from blocking the top 5 pools?
Yeah.
Nothing, right? Because there's only a handful. Actually, I think I have the list. Actually, I don't have it on this computer. I just formatted. But the hosts that are associated with those pools, there's only a handful.
Yeah.
So a handful of pools control the majority of Bitcoin mining.
That would be very impactful. Yeah, if they blocked Chinese users from using outside pools and force them to use their own. And then maybe they could do a 51% attack if you just forced enough to use forced all your users to use your pool.
Mm-hmm.
So before it happens, set up a mining pool for Bitcoin with GPUs, despite not being able to make a dent right now. Wait for those ASIC miners to disappear, because they all are pretty much ASIC miners, right? Mm. And then when that happens, the difficulty drops, your mining rig's already ready to go, and you can get a bunch of Bitcoin. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that would that would kill the Bitcoin price, I would think. I don't know what would happen. That'd be really interesting to see, though. Not that I don't know. Not that I don't want it to happen. But this is kind of fascinating when something major like that would happen, right? It's trivial too. What if like these pools were vulnerable to like a layer 7 denial of service where the nodes weren't able to connect to the pools to get work? I think we talked about it briefly. I don't think we talked about layer 7 attacks, but imagine exhausting all of the stratum connections to these pools or whatever protocol they're using so that these workers weren't able to establish a relationship to get work. What would happen? This isn't like go do it.
No, you're talking like a mass denial of service.
Yeah, you just exhaust all of the available connections. Most of these pools that I've seen are TCP connections, so they're not even UDP broadcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of them though are behind Cloudflare and some other DDoS mitigation technologies. So
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
still,
It'd be hit or miss on which ones you would actually work against.
So you do a distributed layer 7 instead of a typical traditional layer 7 where a single IP exhausts all your TCP pool. You spread it out over a bunch of them. Then that bypasses any of the Cloudflare stuff.
Oh yeah, sure.
You create
Cloudflare, I mean, that's just.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I was thinking if they're using Cloudflare, it's probably DNS.
I was just going to say you need to create a blockchain APT to do it.
They could probably do some kind of BGP hack where they take over a network and redirect all the miners to their stuff.
Nice.
All right, we're going down to let's not do this talk.
Yep. All right. Last story for the day is Lazarus Group deploys its first Mac malware and cryptocurrency exchange hack. So
I love this kind of article.
Yeah.
I like doing Mac tradecraft and stuff. So that was basically when the Empire framework went from pure PowerShell to PowerShell and Python. Right. I wrote a lot of those modules.
Nice.
For Mac engagement. So to see APT actually kind of doing the same thing and targeting exchanges who are using Macs because Macs are secure, so let's just use those instead of PCs, right?
Did they use your tool?
I don't know.
I don't think there's a whole lot of Mac-based C2 tools out there.
Just a handful,
which is weird because it's just BSD based, right? Yep. You would think they would be. It's probably because of the sign stuff.
It's that, and it's the initial access, which is hard. Once you're on it, and you can basically kind of do whatever you want. But it's that initial access that's usually the problem. Phishing into Macs is a bit more difficult and technical than phishing Windows sides, but it is doable.
So they actually got users at this exchange to download a Trojanized version of a trading software.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very smart.
It actually gets even deeper. They say that they created an entirely fake software company.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy. So, and then they had a valid digital certificate. So I don't really know a lot about Macs. Full disclosure. Actually, I hate them. I hate them worse than Windows.
I don't even have one.
But the reason why I'm saying that is, so I did see that they're using a valid digital certificate, and I know that with the iPhone, the App Store, Apple issues you a code signing certificate in order to get it verified, right? That's the whole legal process that they make you jump through in order to get it. Mm-hmm. Is it the same thing with Mac OS?
Yeah, and anybody can buy or get on the code signing certificate. It just costs money to get one.
Okay, so
now your app has to get reviewed to get into the store. So I mean, they had to make this thing pretty legit to get it put on the store.
So that's probably why they have a fake company then, because Apple. Okay. So the key is to create a shell company to create your malware, to get a code signing certificate.
Mm-hmm. And if they were smart, they would use environmental keys so that their app only launched the malware when it was in the right network.
Yeah, they're real attackers, though. They don't care.
Yeah, infect everybody.
Exactly. They want all the shells.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about Lazarus, though, isn't they're the financial bank hackers, aren't they? Historically,
I believe so. Yeah, and
they're Sony Group.
Sony was their main claim to fame.
So they hit an exchange. Is that what it is?
Yes, and I don't think they named the exchange.
Uh-oh.
So Kaspersky is the one that kind of reported this.
I like the code name Operation Apple Juice, but it's JEUS.
Nice. All right. So I think that's it for the news. What do we got up next?
Ooh, I want to talk about wallet storage.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. All right. So, Steve, you're going to be telling us about what, Qt wallet storage?
Yes, I'm going to use Qt wallet because it's basically the most common copied, cloned, ported framework used for wallets these days. There are other wallets. There's Core, there's Electrum and Electron, and other wallets that are being made. And I think eventually we're going to gravitate away from Qt wallets for one of the other flavors. But right now this seems to be the mainstream. And we've had people ask us in our channel how to back up and restore wallets, and it's just fundamentals that I think should be covered a little bit. So we won't go into a whole lot of depth here. I just wanted to cover some of the basics, some of the features of Qt wallets, and how to protect your stuff. So basically the Qt wallet, if you go to qt.io, it's a UI framework. And this framework was not developed for wallets, but wallets were developed from this framework. And they're good because they're multi-platform. You can use them on Windows, Linux, and Mac. So you don't have to rewrite your code for all that other stuff. When you compile it, it just kind of magically makes it for all these different OSs. So it's easy for developers to clone this stuff, put their logo on it, maybe add a little feature or two here, but usually they all have the same standard features. And some of those we'll talk about are the ability to back up your wallet, to encrypt your wallet. There's an address book, so if you have a Rolodex of people you like to send and receive from, you can put an address book in there. If the wallet or the coin, if the coin is a masternode supported coin, you'll be able to do masternode commands in there. Some you can sign and verify messages. You can control your coins. You can instantly send coins. Again, if they're masternode, you'll typically see like mix-ins where it'll actually anonymize your transactions and stuff like that. And then there's this handy little feature called the debug window. The debug window allows you to jump into a console, so you can add new peers or new peers to sync to. So a lot of times wallets will come by default with just a handful of nodes that it syncs with. Well, this can take a long time. You can either download the entire blockchain from the coin's website typically, and then import it or sync it from there. Or you can just add more nodes. You can get lists of nodes from shady forums and all kinds of nice places on the internet. Or your friend, if your friend's running a node, you can just sync with them, stuff like that.
Yeah, that debug console, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Like, it's insane.
Yep, if you're getting into it and you really want to go see what all the wallet can do, playing around in the debug console is a great way to do it. If you just type help, you'll get a whole bunch of commands that you can do in there. Highly suggest that you follow what I'm going to tell you about backing up and encrypting your wallet before you go playing in the debug console. You might wipe your stuff and
and and dump your private keys, send them to Steve.
Yeah. So if you want to know like where your wallet's stored and all that kind of stuff, if you go, there's typically three things at the top menus. There's file, settings, and help. Under help is the debug window, and it'll tell you where your data directory is for where your blockchain is stored, and your wallet too. Now you can put your wallet in a different place when you run the Qt installer, but commonly it's in the app data roaming and then coin name folder under your username in Windows. So with the Qt wallet, a lot of people think that it syncs faster. It does just the headers, but that's not actually the case. It does download the entire blockchain. And like I said, if you want it to go faster, just download the blockchain from the website that your coin has, and then just put that blockchain in the data directory. And then when you restart your wallet, it'll sync from when that last fully uploaded blockchain was. And it's typically a lot faster than just sitting there and letting it sync.
Mm-hmm.
First off, when we're talking about wallet security, there's a couple things you want to do. When your wallet sits on your hard drive, it's in the format typically of wallet.dat file, DAT. And that's all it is. It doesn't contain your coins. It's just information about your wallet, your address, your key, and stuff like that. So if somebody has your wallet.dat, they could load it into their wallet, and if it's not protected, they instantly have access to all your coins that are associated with that wallet. So it's mobile. You can move it around. You can back it up online. You can back it up on thumb drives or whatever. So I'm going to cover a couple options that you have. First off, if you go to whatever Qt wallet you're using, typically under the settings tab, you'll have the encrypt wallet feature. And you can click on that, and it'll pop up a little window and then say enter new passphrase. And usually it'll tell you to use a strong password, 10 or more random characters, 8 or more words, something like that. And of course, you want to save this password in a separate place from where you save your wallet. That could be hard-coded, a piece of paper in a safe. That could be in your favorite password manager on a different computer. However you want to save it, just don't keep it on the same system where your wallet is saved, because somebody could just take your key. So these keys are encrypted most commonly with AES, OpenSSL AES to be exact. And that stems from the Bitcoin Core code initial wallet, and they've just kind of cloned it down the line. Now, some wallets do use different types of encryption for their wallets, but that's commonly the most one is the AES. So once you're prompted for your password, you'll type in a new password. It'll ask you to repeat the passphrase. You save it. Now your wallet is encrypted. So anytime you send or receive coins from your Qt wallet or open your Qt wallet, it's going to ask for that passphrase. So having that and not losing it is key to not losing all your stuff. Repeat, don't lose your password. So once you've encrypted your wallet, the next thing to do is back it up. So there's a feature in the Qt wallet, if you go under File, right under Open URI, there's a backup wallet. You can just click on that, and it just opens a file explorer, and you can tell it where you want it, and the save as type is a wallet data or .dat file. Typically, I would suggest saving this to another medium and then putting it in a safe or something like that. Me, I have a Kingston 8 GB encrypted drive, and the encrypted drive actually has pins on it. So it's not something that you plug in and you rely on software to decrypt the drive. It's actually a pin number or code that you type on the USB drive, which unlocks it, and then you can plug it into your computer. Don't leave it plugged in. If you have any encrypted drives, don't get lazy and think that just because it's encrypted, if it's mounted on your drive, somebody can gain access to it. So when you're not using it, unmount the drive or take it out of your system and put it somewhere safe, fire resistant safe, something like that, safe deposit box. The cool thing about wallets is you don't have to save your wallet every time you get more coins, because like I said, it's just associated with the key and your wallet or your address information. It doesn't actually contain your coins. The blockchain does. So once you've backed up and stored your key somewhere else, typically you can put all your keys together. I go the extra effort and I put all my wallet.dats in a single zip encrypted file, another encryption using AES with 7-zip. So I've got my wallet's encrypted, the 7-zip is encrypted, and then it's on an encrypted drive away from my computer, and you basically have to pry it out of my cold dead hands to get my coins. Now that is not an invitation for anybody to come to my house. So I mean, that's really the basics of just wallet security, and just with the Qt wallet, it makes it really easy. Qt wallet, like I said, there can be flaws in it. There's commonly that developers will just clone whatever wallet they want and then just add their features to it. Who knows if they're doing proper code review and stuff like that. So just don't trust the wallet, trust your backups, and keep them in a safe place, including your passwords.
And if you ever forget your passphrase, the CoinSec podcast password recovery service is here to help you.
Sure thing. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Wallet.dat files can be cracked using Hashcat and some other tools. So if it is encrypted, it needs to be a strong password just as well, because if you lose that DAT file and it's got a crappy password on it, someone could recover the key. So it's a good point.
And if you do need,
you shouldn't know your password. What'd you say?
I said, and if you do need somebody to actually crack your wallet for you, we're here to help.
Yes.
You can trust us.
Yes.
We will only take a short fee, small fee.
50%.
10%, sure.
One Lambo. 3 Lambos. Well, Ralph's not here. He doesn't get a Lambo.
I know. He never showed up.
The
heck,
That's all right.
Ralph?
He had other stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that was awesome. I think it's informative for sure for anyone who hasn't used like the Qt wallet before.
Yep, and maybe we'll do short blog posts. There's other blog posts out there. I could probably link to one to put up with the show that has basically all the same information. Like I said, it's pretty standard across the board. So you have one Qt wallet, you pretty much have them all.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, guys, I think that's probably it. Yeah?
Cool.
Got anything else?
Tier.
A tier?
A tier.
And that for admin tiers?
Admin tiers. I haven't collected any. This week I'm on physical prep, so
nice.
So I'm not actually doing any hacking this week. I'm living through you guys.
I know. I'm trying to drain you of all your knowledge over Slack. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. Make sure you come hang out with us in the Central Sec Slack channel.
Please do.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
We'll see if I can remember it this time.
Is that
Central
is a link
Sec,
on the website?
centralsec.slackpass.io. You get that right?
centralsec.slackpass.io. Correct.
I think I've ever been there that way.
Isn't that right?
No, it's slackpass.io/central.
Oh man, it's like the third time in a row I forgot it. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll make sure that links up. I'm pretty sure it is, but that should be on each show, just for a friendly reminder. We're always in there. Come hang out and pick our brains. What's left of them.
Right. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at CoinSec Podcast. Keep an eye on coinsecpodcast.com for links from the show, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. If you like the show, leave us a review, and we shall catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.